Hola, hola, Buffets. Welcome back to the Ballers Hub. My name is Thami and Lefatse, and with me today is Thami. We'll be reacting to the Orlando Pirates taking on the Pyramids and Mamelodi Sundowns taking on the Ahly in the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League that played over the weekend. Let us start with the Ahly and Mamelodi Sundowns. We saw the Ahly playing a goalless draw against the Mamelodi Sundowns. One can say they planned better. One can say they planned better. Is it a matter of playing better and planning better? What is your take on that, Tam?
I'm going to be honest, my brother. It's a disappointing result for me for Mamelodi Sundowns. I think each and you don't need to be a coach or a sport analyst to understand and to know that Al Ahly was going to play the way they played against Mamelodi Sundowns. We all knew Al Ahly was going to come back, to come to South Africa, perhaps play a back four, back five, or back six, if you say. I'm saying this because they were always going to have two defensive midfielders and hope to play or get something on the counter via Ashu, of which I believe he showed exactly the kind of a player that he is. And Mamelodi Sundowns, I could not see. I still don't understand what they were trying to do, my brother. It was the first time for me seeing Mamelodi Sundowns not progressing the ball. I could not even count the shot on target. I could not even see the forwards getting inside the box. My brother, I don't know. Is Ribeiro off form? That's another question. Because for me, he seems very lost. I've been saying this. I've been saying this that the guy seems very frustrated. I'm not sure if it's a matter of a position now or it's a matter of the fact that he was so much on form and scoring goals, and now the fact that goals are no longer coming, he's frustrated and letting that actually lead in terms of the emotional side of things. Mauro Sanders just gave it to Alex, to be honest with you. And if you notice, even though those two goals were offside, I think Al Ahly created better. I think Al Ahly were even more dangerous than Mamelodi Sundowns throughout the game. The only thing that we can say is that big ups to the defenders of Mamelodi Sundowns because they did their job. Remember, their job is to defend. Like we said in our video, Lefatse, we did actually, and then kudos to us and the ballers up because we did say that we don't see Suarez playing this game. We
Yeah.
did actually expect a change, and I think they got it correct there by playing Umusa Lebusa. It's a like for like, more experience in CAF Champions League, if I were to say. But now we get back to the game. My brother, like Sundowns, I don't know, but then maybe they're going to say they did not concede at home, they still have a chance. But I don't want us to say and rule them out because remember, they did not concede. And the away goal, I think most people are forgetting about it. I think most people are forgetting that that rule still applies in Africa when it comes to CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup. So it might be a plus for Mamelodi Sundowns, but for me, knowing Al Ahly, I think, my brother, if we are going to, to be honest, that's the Al Ahly that we know in CAF and knockout stages. They play exactly like that. They know that they're going back home, and you will see Ashu is gonna be causing problems. You will see Atia is gonna be causing problems. I hope Sundowns will be prepared.
Wena uma ukhuluma ngo-Ashu hayi mamela istadi leya yalast leya. Iy'bonakalisile izolo on Saturday, I mean ukuthi hayi inzima kakhulu.
Mm.
But for me, if we were to talk about it, I just felt like the midfield of Mamelodi Sundowns, they were just too far apart from each other. I think Jalen Adams didn't have a good game. Umkwena, he didn't have a good game. One can say ukuthi they planned i-game plan ye-Al Ahly beyilele kumkwena ukuthi angakwazi ukuliqala in their build-up phase. I don't know. As for Ribeiro, I prefer him not as a 10, man. I prefer him as a right winger than coming inside. Rather than him when they are building up Bembeke Lapaya as a number 10. But that's just my opinion. But as the match went on, we saw the return of Themba Mshishizwane. They call him Mushikabala. How important was he when he came on? Because I think in Sundowns, when Mshishi came on, they looked a little bit likely to score a goal.
My brother, that's the only moment in the game where you saw Mamelodi Sundowns supporters happy and cheerful and excited. I think that's one of the positive sides. Like I mentioned, the first being the fact that Mamelodi Sundowns did not concede at home, and the second being the return of arguably. I think there's been a debate around this thing of whether Shigabala, thing on this Spirit Shabalala who's the all-time best PSL player, I'm not going to get into the debate. I'm going to say it out and clear. He's, for me, in my lifetime, the best to ever do it in the PSL. When he returned, my brother, the guy is a star. Let's be honest, the guy is a star. You, you know a player with confidence. You know a player that knows that now I need to carry my team. He got that armband. I could even see the smile from other players. And I was like, this guy is too good. This guy is too big. I remember Peter used to say, when Mshichi dances, the whole team dances. And he was looking for the ball. He wanted to play. But unfortunately, his colleagues were not there. They were just not on the day. And it happened. It's football. I think we don't need to be as negative. Like I'm saying, I'm trying to be as positive as I can, but I'm trying to be as honest as I can. I will say that's what the only positive moment for Mamelodi Sundowns. And I want to agree with you as well. I think that's why I said it's a game that there's question marks whether it's a game of the fact that Uri Piero is off form or it's a position. I agree with you so much. Uri Piero has a problem making those runs from the side coming in. Do you get what I'm saying? But also, number
Yeah.
three, when Lefatse. I think also Okot Cardozo is coming very predictable. Me and you spoke about it that if there's gonna be changes, we know there's going to be Matthews coming on. We know that
Yeah.
there's a possibility of, in terms of the attacking phase, in terms of the forward, that's a substitute that they're going to make. And you are correctly so. I actually knew that you deal with Mukwena, you are almost done with Mamelodi Sundowns. Because once you kill those beat-up plays, it's absolutely impossible. Look now at what they've made difficult for themselves, like you are saying, Sengi Valley Police Sundowns. If you are saying now you can't play with Mukwena from the middle of the park, right?
Yeah.
Then you have got Uri Piero also in front of Mokwena with Uayende. Can then Ukekana make those those long passes to the side? No. They cannot do that because who are they making it for? Remember how they scored those 2 goals in that 4-1 win against Orlando Pirates? Some of those goals were just boom because they know it's going to run into the space. And that's been the secret weapon. But all in all, the forwards were just not into the game. And unfortunately, even Mukwena could not be the Mukwena that we know. Allende was just off. Adams was just off. And like I'm saying, the only positive from that game is the return of the king, the great Shikapala, Temba Mzwane Mshishi.
That's the great Shikabala. No, when Ushishi came on, he certainly looked like he never got injured, man. He was dancing, he was wanting the ball, receiving, playing. But yeah, let us move on to now Orlando Pirates taking on the Pyramids. The game played, I think, at 6 o'clock at FNB Stadium. Um, I don't know, man. I just felt like not playing at Orlando might have had an impact on the players, man. They just didn't click, man. It was not happening for Orlando Pirates.
Mm. You know, when I was thinking about this game, I look at certain factors, my friend. Number one is exactly that. The first knockout game or the first game in the CAF Champions League is being played at FNP Stadium. Let's be honest, even the field was not full. The supporters could not be there, but one might say obviously it was the Easter weekend. It was always going to be
Yeah,
difficult because people are traveling around. But then I'm not sure what was happening with the field, especially in the second half, the first 15 minutes. Those those players were sleeping on Umbatha, angazi Umbatha ulaleka ngakhi, sleeping in Bokazi. I don't know what was happening, but obviously you can't say that's an issue because it's the same field that the Pyramids players were using as well. But I believe that not playing at Orlando Stadium was also a factor. But let's also be honest. We spoke of Ian Ahly having had their game plan that everybody knew about. Nobody expected Pyramid to come and counter press and attack and be as positive against Orlando Pirates away from home. I think the team they got their plan spot on. Sometimes you don't need to go around and try to find in that you're going to hide with. No, there's nothing to hide there. The game plan for an act was, for Pyramids was spot on. They came to play. They wanted it more. They wanted those 2 away goals. Oh, you can see that they wanted 2 or more away goals. That's what they wanted. Fortunately for us, that's factor number 2. I don't care what people say in the Lefatse. VAR is there. VAR is there to change football. And it's about time that the PSL, Dr. Ivan Koza, Danny Jordan, all the leaders of South African football, I hope that was a great example of the importance of the VAR. Yes, there's question marks around the first goal because, in my opinion, knowing the rule, I thought, okay, Fiston Maele was offside when the ball was being played. But then the flick made by Umbogazi, I'm not sure if there's been any clarity with that when I Lefatse. Then it changes everything because now it says, regardless of the fact that the player was in an offside position, but because there was a touch or a flick made by the opposition player, then it means that I'm onside. Of which, from my understanding, it could have been a legitimate goal. But VAR, and I'm sure that there's been clarity around it. But the second goal, there's nothing to actually even try to elaborate or explain there. It was a handball that changed the direction of the ball, resulting into the goal. That's a clear offside. But my point is, my brother, VAR is important in football, especially in African football. We've seen this. Those could have been goals if there was no VAR. Let's be honest with that. Probably even those 2 goals scored by Ahly. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that has been the story of African football. Back into the field of play. I'm going to cause a question for you, my friend. Do you think changing into a back 4 was a result of us or Orlando Pirates not having the balance to play the way they've been playing in the knockout stages? I don't know. It's something that I was asking myself because then again, I don't want to say the boy he didn't have a good game, Umbogazi, but I'm saying to you now, it's a big game. You know that he's going to play against probably the best striker in African football at the moment, Fiston Maele. Do you want to expose the boy to be bullied by Maele just like that? Or perhaps the plan was that we're going to have more ball and hence you then had to accommodate all the forwards because you had to Kota, you had the king of Orlando or the prince of Orlando rather, Tito Maswangani, and then you have Urela Mfuge. Perfect. I don't know how many times I'm going to speak about Rele. It doesn't matter whether we play bad or whatnot. The guy is class. The boy is that quality. That is story for another day. I'm saying this because we just spoke about Shigapala. I'm saying this boy is shown that he wanted more for Orlando Pirates. He wants to carry. He just wants to do it correctly. But that's also, I say kudos to Van Royen. You know the tackle. That was $1 million tackle. In a tournament like that, my brother. If Orlando Pirates goes all the way to win this CAF Champions League, you will remember that Ketley from that tackle from a mistake that was made by Hodian Hot, of whom, of course, has been one of the outstanding players in the CAF. But for me, the defense for Orlando Pirates was outstanding again. Chaine, he probably right now from he is one of the, if not, he makes the 5 players, if I speak, the 5 best Orlando Pirates players at the moment. China is part of those players. Osmisi, another outstanding player. Like, I think it's getting better with each and every game. The confidence. I'm not sure if the armband also is a catalyst as well. It's just it's something else. I'm not going to. But Umbata will play well in patches and whatnot. And of course, you can't expect Tito to play well if the team is not playing well as well. Because if you do not have the ball, what's going to happen? I think Sengivala Mkhekazi, I really believe that Pyramids was and it's not a debate, the toughest opponent that we faced or Orlando Pirates has faced in this tournament so far. And I think and I hope that, but I believe Riviera because he was also very honest to say these are the toughest opponents we played. They were just, the analysis was spot on. The way in which they played. There's a player, my brother. There's a player. His name is Toure. Was playing in midfield. What a player!
Yeah, and because of time, I would have really wanted to answer your question as to changing into a back 4 was really what caused the Orlando Pirates to not get a result. But because of time, we'll discuss that one in the pre-match analysis of the second leg, which will be played away at Al Ahly. For now, all I can say is that tackle from Van Royen, that was a championship-winning tackle, that one. And if Orlando Pirates go on and wins the CAF Champions League, that tackle will be one that will be remembered for. But for now, thank you so much, people. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.